Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Nikki. If you're new here, I would love it if you hit that subscribe button and the notification bell to alert you of future videos. I am a homeschool mom to a child going into 4th grade, and today that's what I want to talk to you about is our new 4th grade curriculum choices and why we are switching things up. So if that is something that interests you, please keep watching. I've had a few update videos go up since now, so you kind of have an idea if you've been around what's been going on. As to keep this as short and sweet, my child was diagnosed with ADHD, and so that really got me on this thinking train of what can I do to make this year better for her, as I know our 3rd grade year was not great at all. She's kind of traumatized from it. I'm kind of traumatized from it. It was not a good year. There was a lot of butting heads. And I know 3rd grade overall is a very rough year for a lot of people. But I think her ADHD amplified that. And it was also the first year that we changed everything at once the first time since homeschooling. So I had all new curriculum, and pretty much it was just a battle from the get-go. What I'm learning is that ADHD people do not like to necessarily step out and try new things. They like the same routines, they like the same types of things. So I think that really threw off our 3rd grade year. So I got in my head about, okay, well, a lot of the stuff that I had for our 3rd grade year, I was kind of keeping the same for our 4th grade year, and give and take a few things. So long story short, my word of the year was simplify, and I felt I was simplifying because my heart wants to be an unschooler and my heart wants me to be a simple person, but I don't know how to be that way. So for me to retrain myself and to hopefully put my child at ease this year is we're gonna bring it all back to where we started. I know I have come on here multiple times and said I have done using some curriculums, and in reality we were done at that time, but I always have an open mind, and I'm never gonna say never at this point. And where this year needs to be is an all-in-one curriculum for Molly. To me, that's simplifying because it's all in one. There's not a million books, there's not a million things. It's a different approach, and I think with her mind, that is what's going to simplify and not see tons and tons and tons of curriculum with all the language arts components that I can have stacked deep, you know, reading, writing, grammar, and all of these things, right? And so I think for her that was very overwhelming. So next year things are changing. Some things are staying the same, but we're going to start out with we did start out with what I call a soft start. So we're doing a novel study on Black Beauty and like a horse unit, which the unit itself, we've kind of were able to do that in a day because she's very interested in horses. So she kind of read through a lot of it within the first week. Black Beauty, we're going to finish up in about a week before we have our first day of school. So then that was kind of like our soft start to get us really like in the routine, in the way of spacing out what school is going to look like for 4th grade. She is well aware that in a week's time, we are going to be sitting down here doing school and doing more ease into what I have planned as well. So I'm going to do a whole separate video of what my schedule and plan looks like. But today I just want to talk curriculum and what I've changed. So this is the same. If you saw our 4th grade picks, we are using The Good and the Beautiful Math 4. We did Math with Confidence last year. We did Apologia Math last year. We did we tried a lot, and none of them were truly successful, and it really made us really bang heads together. And we're just going back to our roots. We've used the Good and the Beautiful math for K through 2nd grade, and she really did enjoy it. We didn't have any issues until we hit that 3rd grade level, and it was all over the place, and I felt like that level is just truly difficult, and so that's why we ended up switching. But now we're going back because this level looks pretty much a lot better than level 3. There's not a lot or as much on a page, and the nice thing is that this is directed to the student, so she can read this text. I don't have to do anything. It takes me, the parent, out of the equation, where I can just sit here and like observe, and if she needs help, I'm here, but otherwise this is completely directed to her. It also has the lesson in text form. They call it like the mini lesson, and then it carries on, and then there's a lesson practice page. Ooh, I'm bending the page by holding it up. There's a lesson practice page, and this one actually doesn't have review, so that's not a good one to show you. But here we go. So we have the little mini lesson. It also has them complete mental math, which I have as well. So mental math goes along hand in hand with this. So the first thing they would do is the mental math. So they would flip it open to the lesson. It's just this little box here, and so it's, you know, 5 questions that they have to do in their head. Mentally add 50 and then subtract 1 from the sum. So you're adding 49 to a number. So they have 4 equations here to do, and then it says skip count by 6s, by 4s. And so that should take 1-2 minutes at most to complete the mental math, and that is with the parent. I mean, I guess she could do it on her own, but I imagine that would be something that you would want to do with the parent. Then she's going to go back and dive into the mini lesson. So there is a lesson that is written out to the child, or there are QR codes for free videos through Homeschool, through the Homeschool app for the Good and the Beautiful. So they can easily watch a video if they're not understanding the concept, which is really what sold me on this, because she is mostly an auditory learner, but she's auditory visual, which is very common. And so I thought, well, if she's going to read this to herself, she's going to have the video option to go along with, so that you know, if she needs more help, she has access to that. So then there's a lesson practice page, which is not a whole lot, and then there's also a review page that is going to give you the concepts previously taught in other lessons. So in all, there's 6 on this page for her to complete, other than her multiplication here. And then on this page, there was literally like 3 sections. Yeah. So there's, okay, so I'm wrong. Like they're numbered, but they're not like by per problem. They're like per section, which is fine. There's still not a whole lot on a page, and it's at least cohesively lined up. Whereas I felt like the 3rd one was just like all over the place. So that is the plan for math. And she was actually quite excited about this because it's directed towards her. So the math, we're also going to be adding on because of her choice. She really wanted to do this because she really thinks it's fun, and I thought it was fun too. And I thought this could be, sorry, fly. I thought this could be a very like a warm-up, or after doing the math curriculum. But I got this unusually fun math and reading book. I think it only goes up to 6th grade, or at least that's all I could find. If I'm wrong, let me know. But these are really fun there's like a story that starts off and it's just this little tiny like colorful reading passage, and then it has some questions about the reading, kind of like comprehension, and then it has like a math correlation as well. But the stories are really entertaining. Like we just did one on wombats and square poop. But there's like all different fun. There's logic in here. There's problem solving, puzzles, mazes, creative thinking, comprehension, and it's all nonfiction. So this she loves. Like she was like, that better be in there because I really love doing that. So I wouldn't say that's like a full curriculum that we can use, but it's definitely like an easy add-on. So next up, because I said we're going to be doing an all-in-one, I'm pretty sure you could take a stab at what I decided to go with, but we are going back to using the good and the beautiful. Hear me out. I know that we stopped this in 2nd grade. We did a little bit of it last year and I found we were skipping a lot. Here's the thing. The reason what we were skipping last year was the phonics. There was still very phonics heavy things going on. And our 4th level is written to the student, but it's 0 phonics. It's really gonna narrow in on the grammar, the writing, the spelling. She loves the art and geography, and that was what she really wanted to do, the good and the beautiful, for last year. What I found with the amount that we were skipping last year, it wasn't benefiting her. I don't know how much she actually learned because of the amount that we were skipping in the curriculum. But since we are only going to be using this, there's not a whole lot or reason to skip. And I flat out told her, we're not skipping. Of course, if we see something random, like say there's a recipe we don't want to make, then I can see if that's the whole lesson, we might skip it if we don't feel like cooking that day. But for the most part, I'm not going to skip. She's not going to skip, because what happened is last year she saw that I was also skipping through things and saying, oh, you don't need that, you don't need this, you don't need that. And she was taking it upon it herself to cross things out and say, I'm not doing that. As you could see, she thought she could be mom and make those decisions. So that is not going to happen this year. I found that the writing that we were doing, or that I thought she was loving through Winning with Writing, she did. She loved it until they actually started to make her write beyond more than a sentence. Then it really tore away her love of writing because of the redundancy. And with someone unmedicated with ADHD, I can see how that can be very difficult for her to have the consistency in writing the drafts, the revised drafts, and the topics and all these things that they were having her do, and it became a lot. So I see where she was coming from. I see why she was crossing it out, but now we really need to focus on this all-in-one, which is going to have a more gentle approach. So the way the good and the beautiful has it laid out, there's still a lot of art in here. There's still occasionally times where she has to read a poem to me or whatnot, which she actually did enjoy the poetry as well. So she's going to go through basically the grammar parts and stuff on her own. And then there is reading. So there are readers. I just don't have them yet. I did order them. So she has the readers, so she's going to be reading a chapter, and then there are like a little bit of some comprehension that does go with the readers, which, if you were here, that was my biggest complaint with level 3 and level 2, really, because there was never any comprehension questions. It was just read this. It may have had some spelling words in there and stuff like that, but they are like one vocab word every now and then, but it wasn't enough in my opinion. So we're gonna test it out. We're gonna see. There's other reading options that I have. I mean, we are still gonna do read aloud, so I'm not concerned with the amount of reading per se. It's literally everything else. But she did enjoy the readers a lot, so I'm hoping that it won't be a problem. And then there's spelling workshop and spelling and writing workshop, which is separate. So we have this as well. One day it is spelling and one day it is writing. So we are going to tentatively use this for spelling. She's a really good speller, so if I find that these are too easy for her, then I may just go to the back of the book and just have her do the actual spelling, because she, for whatever reason, just knows how to spell. And I think it's because she reads a lot. So that will be interesting to see how it goes. And then there is the writing shop portion. So it's still a lot of reading through some passages at times and underlining or picking out words, phrases that are redundant, using sensory language. It still incorporates some art to have writing prompts based off of, but it's a very gentle approach. It's having her look at this art piece, and I think it was only going to have her like write in 1 or 2 sentences describing what it might sound like to be sitting on the edge of the mountain stream, and then using some of the words that are sensory language words. So it's not telling her to write these like large paragraphs yet. Maybe as we go on it will. Some of it is rewriting when we're getting a little bit further on. Some of it is rewriting some sentences there. But it's, I don't know, writing effective paragraphs. Like, we are moving in the right direction, and I think this is a much gentler approach than the overwhelm on the winning with writing. Now, if your kid takes off in writing, winning with writing is for you. I think it was a great curriculum. It's almost like out of nowhere, the writing really amps up. So that is what our main everything is going to be. We have an all-in-one curriculum and math. And she has expressed interest in still doing Curiosity Chronicles. This is also kind of very much student-led. She is able to read this. We do this alone or together, and we really enjoyed using this. So I don't want to add it into our right off the go, but it is still going to be an option on our table for when she's ready to add more things and we feel comfortable. This was something that she was looking through and also found really fun, and I want to make as much fun as I can. So if she thinks this is fun, I'm gonna keep it on the table and she can do it. But it's basically a resource book for our homeschool year, as like creating a yearbook. It has so many prompts. It has different subject, different ways they can write, they can draw, to kind of document our school year. How is homeschool going, and what I'm looking forward to this summer, cool things we're learning right now, interesting facts I learned, current events journal. So the more that we dabble, like I said, this is kind of easing her because I think this isn't going to challenge her a whole lot. But that's okay, because I need her to get back on track to really appreciate and find her love of learning again. And I'm not doing anything else right yet. You know, okay, and now that we are medicated and more regulated, maybe she will be open to adding more things in. I have our health, which I really want to incorporate, which we will probably start in September. Because she knows this was kind of a non-negotiable for me we are both struggling with some health things, and we both need to kind of learn about our bodies and what goes in them. And I think this is a good approach, is Abeka's health. So I think I did a whole video on this. I will try to have it linked down below somewhere. So that is the plan right now. I appreciate you guys and all the positive feedback that I received on my last couple videos talking about this like paralyzed state that I've been in and stuff like that, with not knowing what to do and feeling crazy, because this has not come easy of a decision to make and easy to go back to curriculum that I was done with. So, but at the end of the day, I have to do what I think is going to be best for her, and it's going back to the good and the beautiful. I think it's just going to be what she's used to and what she really did well on. When I really look back on those days from kindergarten to second grade, she did really well using the good and the beautiful. So fingers crossed, we're going back there. All right, my friends, I will see you in my next video. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions or suggestions or feedback, whatever. I'll see you in my next one.